Who's the top guy in the club for fishing every day? Fishinfrantk. You say you want to catch some fish?
Hey there. Today's all about big decisions.
Big decisions?
Yes.
What kind of big decisions do we have to make?
Do I want to play with my quantum cabo with the waterproofing and all of its amazing 5 extra pounds of drag over normal reels? Or do I want to play with the sweet little benchmark reel from Quantum?
I don't think that's much of a decision. You can go back and forth.
I'm stressing with it, though.
You can do both.
See, but now I'm less stressed. I'm playing with my Quantum benchmark.
Your emotional support reel and your
my emotional support reel. I've got it right here. I feel better now. Okay.
Do you? Do you feel better?
I actually feel better.
Good.
I feel calmer, more zen.
That's what's important.
Yes.
I feel less zen. A lot less zen.
What happened to you?
There's an empty seat right here.
Yeah, well, I was going to call Pegleg, but I forgot to call him, and I assumed he was booked because he's been doing so many charters lately. It's crazy. And Robert's on vacation, and we got a new guy at the store who can't figure out the difference between a regular choice select or a hand-picked. And I've been checking his buckets, and 3 times I've had to go in. How many's in there? 2 dozen. Why do I count 19 if there's supposed to be 2 dozen in there? I'm like,
it's pretty close to 2 dozen.
And the other one had 31 in it. It's like, I don't get how that works. I mean,
look,
it's dipping shrimp. You put shrimp in a net and you pick one out, you put it in the bin. 1, 2, 3. I mean,
but it's challenging. Did you show him the right way to count a dozen on your fingers, by the way?
No.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Just count the joints in your fingers.
Oh, you got 12
it's a dozen.
joints.
Yeah.
Okay. That's going to be good next time we try and hire a younger person.
Yeah.
For the last 10, 15 years, we've had to ask how many's in a dozen. This is not a joke. This is real. If you're dealing with anybody, literally, if they look like they're under 30, ask how many's in a dozen. And 50-50 if they know that. What's worse is in the last 6 years, you have to ask how many quarters are in a dollar.
Yes.
I didn't go for nickels or dimes. I just thought basic, like quarters. More than half have no idea.
Tough math, Frank.
Yeah, more than half have no idea. And they're applying for a job where you have to use a cash register.
Yeah. By the way, if you do a dozen on this hand, you can also do a dozen on this hand. You can count out a dozen dozens. That's a gross. That's why we have dozens and grosses, because you can count it on your fingers and not lose track.
Gotcha. Very cool. Little historical fact that.
Yeah.
But
a little leftover from the Babylonians, or maybe it was Sumerians.
And, know, I'm not blaming kids for being stupid. Blame them for not being educated because they're not being educated properly. But when you look at some of these kids, they've never used anything but a debit card.
Correct.
And they've never done math. Anything but plastic. They have no idea counting anything because they don't give people money. The kids who actually come in with money, they know what it's about.
Right. Well, they have
sharp,
to. And they've never done math on anything but a calculator.
Yeah. If you're looking to hire a kid, if he looks real country, probably the one you want to hire. If he looks real city, probably not. Yeah. Country kids, it's a whole different experience. Their dad will usually beat them into submission. And their mother definitely will. Anyway, enough of rantings about the weirdness of the world, but I'm going to put in a 20-second rant about Florida put this, $15 an hour minimum wage in. Mm-hmm. Okay, great. It goes up $1 every year. How are you ever supposed to hire a young person? They can't count. They can't talk. They can't write their own name. They're not worth the money. Florida, and this is where I'm taking the caveat on it, is Florida needs an educational wage. So when the kids 14 or 15 and they're starting to work and 14, 15, 16, 17 years old, those wages need to be exceptionally lower. Like say starting at $8 an hour, 9, 10, 11, and then when they turn 18, they go to the adult wages. But most of them live at home. It's not like they need the money, they need the experience. And you can't afford to teach somebody for 6 months how to do a job at those kind of wages. It's not fair to the kids. Let's put an act of Florida educational wage where they go out and get a job at 15 years old or 16 and they're making something that makes it worthwhile taking the time to train them.
Listen, I'm not going to disagree with you other than to say your 20-second rant was 2 minutes long. So maybe you have trouble with math too.
Oh, I always have trouble. I got to use my fingers to count. You
but at least
see me trying to do the taxes. It's I'm pathetic, but I can make change and function as a human. But outside of making change and function as a human, I really think there needs to be an educational wage in Florida. Something that's much lower than the adult wage, because most of them are living at home, not like they're supporting their family. So
I'm not arguing against you.
You just have this look like you're out of your mind. I know it won't happen because we got too many bleeding hearts that don't care if kids can have a job. But literally, this is in the last few years, the first time in the history of the store, we don't have young people working here because it takes you so much money to train them. And I miss having the young people around, but I can't afford to pay them those kind of wages for doing nothing but.
Yeah, no, I get you. Hey, you know what would be cool?
Let's do a fishing report.
During this fishing report, yes,
During
let's
this
do
fishing
that.
report?
Yeah.
You want to just start over and eliminate all the ranting?
I mean, we could do that, but you know what? We've got this wind. It's blowing out of the south. It's bringing us some heat and humidity. It's making everybody grumpy. I think some people might appreciate your rant today.
Okay, so we'll continue on. Otherwise, we were going to delete that.
Yeah.
All right.
But the fishing report starts
Let
really
me
soon.
get over to the map.
Okay.
My glasses on. See if I can get them straight. All right.
That looks reasonably... Oh, no, you made them crooked. There you go. That's not bad.
Okay. So...
Okay, bringing the map up. Getting ready to beam you in. Come on,
right.
map. There we go. Okay. Let's beam Frank in. All right, and let's find me. Where am I? There I am. Okay. Hi, Frank.
Get my britches all pulled up.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, you know what I forgot to do? While you were over here ranting, I forgot to even turn this computer on. This is what happens when Robert's not here. I forget what I'm supposed to be doing.
We have had, it's been an unusual week. There's so much going on. We've had some great days in here. We've filmed some really cool stuff. As soon as Robert gets back, we can get out on the water. The weather's changed. Everything's going on, but you're going to start seeing the fishing. It has just been one thing after the other. All right, this is boring as hell, and I can't think of anything to talk about, except I'm going to go up here to the Peace River, because we have enough of the Peace River up here right now that we can see it.
You can start talking about that while I figure out this other thing over here, because I don't even know what the password is.
Basically, when you get there, it's going to be, there's trout, there's some jacks, and redfish with a bit of snook on the side, along with a monster fish or two, including a couple sharks. Some of your best trout fishing right now is going to be on the north side of I-75 and right out in front of Harbor Heights in this stretch right in front of here. We've got a lot of redfish down here on the south side under the docks, even a little bit around the canal by the Darce boat ramp. But going upriver, you got a few redfish up there, a scattering of snook around. Most of the other fish are thinning out as it goes north. But we are hearing about some mangrove snappers, snook, and trying to remember what else. Snappers and snook, but there's something else being caught at Sansuchi Trestle.
Was it baby tarpons?
Might have been, but I don't think so.
Could have been.
But
Seems
I've heard
like a good place for
of
'em.
Going up Shell Creek, there's a lot more small tarpon have moved in. And any day now, up by the water treatment plant, you're going to start seeing a lot of small tarpon up there. It's that time.
Well, that'll be a good thing. Okay. It's too bad I didn't
turn the volume on my phone off.
Type any of this up because I was busy trying to figure out how to make this work.
All right. So, unfortunately, you can tell this isn't like a regular program. This is a couple of guys deciding we're going to do a fishing report, and it just kind of happens the way it happens. Sometimes you want to rant. You get out there and you got people who aren't doing what they say they can do. You've got other people that you wish you could hire that you can't. You get into traffic and you watch people zoom in and out of traffic to get to a light that's red.
Yeah. It's very important. We have to get there. Have to get there first.
Did everybody figure out that or forget that you can take your foot off the gas and just kind of cruise in and you don't have to run all the way there and jam the brakes?
No, I think what's happened is people have gone insane.
It could be. It could be. Lots of insanity.
Let's try to get this thing rolling like it's supposed to be.
Okay.
The Darst Park boat ramp,
41.
I-75 bridges.
I did Darst. We're down to 41.
Oh, you did Darst.
Yeah, okay, we're down to 41.
I didn't write anything for that.
All right, okay. And I don't have a lot at 41, except we're starting to see some trout over in this corner here on the northeast corner. And right off in front of where Sunseekers is, off this front corner here, you've got a couple deep pilings, deep pockets around the columns that are holding a little bit of snook. I've heard of a little bit of fishing off of the Lashley Park seawall. Not hearing great catches, some smaller trout, a couple snappers, stuff like that. But there is a little bit of fish there. But we're hoping things are going to improve. Now, every day, things are getting better. We're hearing more and more fish stories. People are coming in more and more excited. So, it's going to be good.
I like it. It wasn't typing anything, so I had to make it type things.
Okay.
Yep. That kind of a day.
This is what happens when we don't have Robert.
Yeah, I know. I told you.
Yes.
Miss Robert
You
immensely.
don't think Robert does much, but his mere presence here makes him get the computer going. I can do the spots, color commentary. Robert handles
it makes all the things work right.
Robert is what makes everything work right.
He's the glue. He's always been the glue.
Coming along Bayshore here, we've got some trout out in front of this. There are possibly, now I had one guy tell me he saw cobia out there, but we've got some redfish along here going up into, where are we going next?
Spring Lake Park is our next
Spring
official
Lake Park.
spot.
I don't really have any reports for there. In the one next to it, though, there are trout in the Sunrise Waterway. But I don't have any reports from here. But we had a guy come out, and he was trolling 08 Rapalas. And he had the orange and yellow and the blue and silver. He caught fish on both of them. So,
okay, so Rapala X-Rap 08.
Yeah, X-Rap 08. I don't think the color's a huge issue. About 3.5 miles an hour. And just trolling on the Sunrise. He was doing good on the trout.
Okay. Anything else in the other canals?
I haven't heard a lot about the canals, except there is still some sheephead fishing going on in the canals. Mangrove snappers are still in the canals, and definitely snook. Not a lot of monsters we're hearing, but we are hearing a lot about snook in the canals. Now, at Port Charlotte Beach, this is where the beach complex is, and the boat ramp right here. You want to?
Yep, I'm getting there.
There you go. Okay. Nope. Back out. Take it to me. There you go. That's good. This is where the boat ramp is at Port Charlotte Beach, and the guy was trolling the Sunrise Waterway for trout. But up in here, and this beginning area of the Countryman, there's a lot of trout through here, as well as down here in Alligator Bay itself. You come out of the beach, and then you got the channel markers all going out to the harbor itself. This whole area here is great either to drift for trout or to troll for them. So there's a little bit of ladyfish mixed in. Now, redfish, we had one guy tell me that him and I used to fish here years ago. He was in here on the docks, Caught a couple nice redfish out of the docks over there, so that was pretty good. The Ackerman is doing better right here at the mouth for as far as some ladyfish, jacks, a couple other fish, but as you get up into there, it slows down a bit, even up towards the bridge, which it shouldn't be. Should be loading up, but I just think we're not hearing about it.
Could be, but we had that weird weather.
Mm-hmm.
So that drives
But the canal fishing right now is getting better by the day. We've got another month of, for the next month, the canals are going to be loaded with fish. It's going to be great fishing there. Where are we going next?
We are going over to Jobean to the bridge, and I saw some kids last night fishing off of this in a very, very dangerous way. Because, this bridge has no rails, no nothing. There's no catwalk on this older bridge.
Right.
You just have the 2 lanes and then this very, very narrow space where you could, I guess, stand if you're crazy because traffic's going by at 70 miles an hour. There they were, about 10 rods all set up and all wearing black. So, I don't know what to tell you.
Something about joggers and people that think at night because they can see the cars coming, the cars can see them. I have joggers when I would be coming into work that are out there in brown shirts and shorts because it looks cool. You're going to die. I'm going to feel real bad when I run you over and you're going to die. But it's not my fault. If you're wearing dark clothing at night, maybe reflective vest or something. And these kids here, they think because the lights of the bridge are there that you can see everything. And it's just...
No.
They're going to...
And worse, they're just over the other side of the bridge. So you come over the hump, and then you hit the downside, and that's where they are standing right there. So you can't see them on your way up.
And it's not fair to the people in the cars because they're going to feel real bad when you're dead.
Really?
It's going to affect them the rest of their life. That's going to be horrible for them. You're going to die, go to the hospital, whatever, but you decided to do it. But the person who hit you accidentally, they feel bad for the rest of their life. It's horrible for them,
All of which is to say, listen, I love fishing too, but I'm going to probably fish in a place that I don't think I'm going to die to do it.
I don't want to fish in a place where I'm going to cause somebody else to ruin their life because I was stupid.
That too.
It's not about me dying. I took the risk. I'm good with it. I live, die, get hurt, don't get hurt, whatever. But putting other people in a horrific thing, that's what I have the problem with. Now, along Jobean, there's been some tarpon showing up here more and more, and these are the juveniles that live here. A lot of them are probably from upriver, up the Myakka River. You're going to see those tarpon coming down more to this over the next month. But evenings are the time when you're going to want to see these, or that you probably see these tarpon here because sun warms up all day, and they're going to end up coming up here to look for food. So evening times, anytime after like 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, this is going to get a lot better. It's one of those period things. And then, of course, if you come late at night after the car traffic stops, you're going to have some really good fishing there. But we've got a little bit of trout over on the sides of this, up and along here. The problem with this is this should be really loaded up with fish, but the water's been so shallow, they're not coming up there yet. Give it a little while. Tippy canoe is going to start lighting up. A lot more fish going to move into tippy canoe because the water's really warm, but there is actually water in it. And that's what it takes. You can't just... okay, it's cold, they'll be in tippy canoe because of the dark bottom brown water. There actually has to be water there, and that's what we've been missing. But now the water's coming in every day. This whole side over here will have redfish. This point's got some redfish. When you come into this one. You come in here, you come around a point, and there's a little bay with kind of a creek here. That's some nice redfish at the mouth of that, around the oyster bed and along this edge. But working our way out into the river, we're starting to see a little bit of schools of trout coming from here, going upriver and coming back. Redfish along these cuts in the sandbar on Hog Island. The redfish are actually doing pretty good in there. Not huge numbers, but there's actually redfish showing up. We're seeing the same thing over here in Trout Creek. You've got some great sheephead fishing up in there, some nice mangrove snappers, a little bit of snook, but it's just getting started because fish can now get from the harbor in and out of Trout Creek. So Trout Creek is going to be one of those spots you definitely want to get into over this next month, because that's when you're going to have the best fishing. It's warm enough, but there's enough water. With the cold everywhere else, the creek really heats up during the course of the day. So afternoon fishing, if you got a higher tides in Trout Creek, is going to be really good. As you go down the west wall, I don't have anything for South Gulf Cove except some sheephead and mostly tilapia and Mayan cichlids. But some of the guys are catching sheephead back here along this rim canal, and some of the canals coming in off of that, because they're putting in at the boat ramp and working their way in and coming in some of these canals, hitting the docks, and finding some decent sheephead. Mostly 1/8 ounce jig heads up to a quarter with a peeled shrimp meat tail on it. They just peel the shell off the tail, thread it on like it was a plastic tail, and that's what they've been using here to catch the sheephead under the docks. Coming along the west wall down here, what we've got is a lot of little creek mouths where you've got pockets of deep water back there, but the water up that creek and out on the flats is all being cooked up in the sun. So you're getting these pockets of deeper, warmer water, and they're holding snook, they're holding redfish. The sun starts shining on this first thing in the morning. The east side is shaded. The east side gets all the water flow out of Boca Grande Pass, which is cold, salty water. So the east side is much slower. The west side of the harbor starts getting sun. As soon as the sun peaks up over the horizon, it starts warming this side up. By June, probably by May, the east side will be much better fishing than the west. But from now until May, all about the west side. And Muddy Bay, Blowdown Creek, Laydown Creek, there's Gravel Creek over here, there's Oyster Creek. You've got all these places, and it's mostly right at the mouths of these where you're going to find all those snook and redfish, but the numbers are increasing daily. So this is a good thing. Down here at Cape Hayes on the bar, and I've been working in the store lately, so I hear all this stuff. Been working in there for a while. But Cape Hayes, a couple of bonnethead sharks, and we're seeing schools of pompano going up and down the bar on the west side, but coming around, working around Cape Hayes bar and heading across in front of Bull and Turtle Bay, probably going out towards the Gulf. But you've got the schools of pompano going around. You've got ladyfish working these areas, a lot of fun. You get a little bit of jacks in the mouth of the Turtle Bay here. And up inside of Turtle Bay and Bull Bay in here, the trout fishing continues to be pretty darn good. We're actually, all the deep water areas from up by the house all the way on down through the middle, and from the center of this over west towards this side here. This is all nice deep water through here. So you're getting that. You find some of the trout in this cut through here, but that cut's very shallow most of the time. It's got to be a higher tide for any trout to be holed up on that. When the water's up over a 1.5, you do see some trout baking in the sun there, but sometimes just too shallow. But a lot of redfish being caught over in Bull Bay and up into the creeks and ponds that are not so much ponds, but wider areas. You're getting a lot of redfish moving in up here. Some of the snook are even further back up. Some of the guys who've been really going in there, going up a half a mile out past the actual boundaries of Bull Bay into these creeks, they're finding some of those big over 30-inch snook, up some over 40 inches. Now, out in front of Turtle Bay, where you've got the beach and the Eagles Cut up here, you're seeing a lot of snook, but they're mostly in that 26 and lower. There's not 18 to 26 inches. Not finding a lot of big fish, but there are numbers growing of the smaller snook there. And out in the grass in front of there and right up by the beach comes down, then there's a drop off right along that drop off. Now getting up here into Placida, that's where we go next, isn't it?
Gasparilla Sound, Placida.
Okay,
It's kind of
Gasparilla
like
Sound.
all together.
I don't have a lot except, you want to pull that over?
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Thank you. What we've got is on the east side, as you're going north on this east side of here, devilfish and all this, you're seeing schools of redfish working these shallows, and especially once you get past this kind of island, so to speak, up here, you're seeing schools of redfish, but you've got to really know what you're looking for. You're just seeing the water move slightly different. Look for the pattern. You got to go back to Sesame School. This thing looks like the other, but not quite. And watch for the pattern of the waves going across. And there'll be a slight difference in there. The waves won't be evenly rippled all the way across. There'll be a break in it. And that's a school of fish moving just under the surfaces. As the water levels have come back up with the higher tides, they're able to stay down lower. If you're there, low tides first thing in the morning, you're going to see a lot of tails up. But as soon as the first couple boats go, they drop back down, and now they're in stealth mode. And they're not going to stick those tails out of the water during the day once the boats start running. So you got to really watch and see that. But you've got schools of anywhere from 6 to 30 redfish work in this area. And I know there's probably 5 schools over there that a couple of different captains have told me about. So we're seeing a really good increase in the number of fish possible to catch. The most common thing that happens, you get your boat close, you finally spot that school, and as soon as you get just into casting range, they move back a little bit. So the longest rods you've got, the lightest line, the smallest reels. Small reel produces small loop, doesn't cause friction, gets you farther cast. But you're literally making 100-foot casts to get into some of these schools, because as soon as you get in that 40 to 60 feet from them, they're just moving out. They're not running, but they're moving. Over along the Placida trestle here, we've still got schools of pompano coming through. We've got some sheephead around the columns on the bridge itself, but on all the old trestle pilings. And it's just a matter of looking for the one they're holding out on that day. So get yourself a good pair of flying fisherman sunglasses, great polarizing, great big hat so that you can actually see into the water. The big hat, otherwise you're standing there looking like this all day. But for out here, blue or green colored lenses are going to be your best ones for seeing the fish. These are brown lenses. Now that's the one I prefer most of the time, but they're going to cut my vision by half here. When you're looking for the sheephead, you're seeing lots of subtle colors, but the water is so blue-green. Brown lenses used to be called blue blockers. They cut out a lot of the blues, so you don't see the fish. So brown lenses, if you've got brown, and it doesn't matter what's on the front, it matters when you're looking through this way, get blue or green from where your eyes see. In front can be mirrors, can be all kinds of goofy stuff. It's the important side is the side you look through. Make sure that's not a brown tint. All of a sudden you'll see twice as many fish. The color of the water here eliminates the brown. You have to go blues, greens, maybe gray. But not a nice fish through here. On this side, hopefully in the next month or two, we'll start seeing some bait over through here. But right now, it's just not happening.
It's little. It's very small.
Very tiny bait starting to show up.
Yep. And there's also trout here kind of along this edge, because you've got the shallow and then you've got this deeper cut that goes through.
Yeah.
And by the way, I don't know why this is, but I'm noticing this on almost everybody's GPS charts. This area right here is labeled as being dangerously shallow.
And it's not.
And it's not. There's a marked channel that runs right through there. But it's
channel
labeled as
right
being just as shallow as some of those spots that you don't want to run across, out there where it's sandbar.
It just goes to show, I have a Garmin GPS that's got magnificent charts, and I find it's right about 80% of the time. But things change, things move, and they don't always get to update the charts. And you might not even update your chart because they've got to be updated periodically. But most of the areas don't even update. They don't go on the water and take soundings to find out what's going on. They might do that every 20 to 50 years. Some areas more, if you have a high boat traffic and a lot of money coming in from the boats, they'll update the charts more often, every 5 or 10 years. But most areas, it's 20 to 50 years before you see updates to this, unless it's a private boat calling in aids to navigation.
Yeah. All right. Brings us up to Lemon Bay.
I got trout. You've been up there fishing.
We did go up there fishing, and it was rough trying to find anything. But we did find some fish here on the inside of Stump Pass. You've got some areas where you have some good sharp drop-offs, and that's where those fish were staying. But the water temperature, it was cold. It was 61 degrees, and they were not feeding readily. Your soft plastic shad tail that you like so much, which one is it?
My rage tail?
Your rage tail, yeah. That's the one that was catching fish. But you had to fish it so slow, drop it to the bottom, and just basically crawl it across the bottom.
And it's the reason that right now I'm still fishing the rage tails. Strike King makes a rage tail, R-A-G-E tail. That has a very thin connection to the tail. And it's strong, but it gives it amazing movement. You can go as slow as you can creep the reel, which... Come on, Quantum, we need the slow roll power reels, that 3-to-1, 4-to-1 reel that we can reel slow enough to fish these kind of temperatures. And Quantum's the only one who will ever make it. I've talked to every other company. They won't listen. Quantum's the only company listening, but I'm going to keep pounding it. We need this reel. But the Strike King Rage Tail is perfect for this time of year because of that. Now, once the water temp hits in the 70s, I'm going right back to the DOA Cal Shad, maybe the Bass Assassin, but usually the DOA. And I'll be hitting that DOA Cal Shad all the time. But right now, the Rage Tail. And not the smaller one. Get a little bit bigger. I think if they're going after a meal, they want something that's actually a meal, not just a tiny snack. So
we did spot some sheepshead up around here. You've got the old broken down now pier running next to the Tom Adams Bridge. That one has some fish around it. This is Beach
Road. To find this road up on 776 and Beach Road is the McDonald's. It's been here forever, that McDonald's. That's how you tell if you're going down the right way. Now, if you go back to the bridge, are we still able to park here?
I
believe
that you're able to park there, but I haven't tried. So I'm not sure that that's a definite answer on that.
Because you can fish off this area, the land here, and still catch fish. You don't need to go all the way out on the pier.
Yeah.
You can fish off the land there and do just fine.
And we did see somebody who was sitting under here. I don't know where they had parked, but they were underneath here, under the bridge. And they were fishing sheepshead.
Parking lot just when you go on the island and turn right? I thought there was a big parking lot right there, but it's been years.
Yeah. You know. Again, I'm not sure where they had parked. So, but
probably was from one of the condos here.
There were some sheepshead that were down there. They were not actively feeding. We looked underneath these docks and didn't see any fish underneath those, but we looked under these docks down here, and a lot of them had fish hanging out underneath them. But it was really murky. We'd just come off that strong wind, so the water in here had all that milky,
white, gray, cloudy stuff in it.
So you were really not able to see more than about 2 feet in. So I couldn't tell exactly what kind of fish we were dealing with. I know there were fish, but I couldn't tell for sure what, and they were not actively feeding either. So,
yeah, I was just looking at my other flying fisherman ones. No, they're brown as well. Look through the side, look through this side, make sure they're green or blue or gray. But if they're brown, go get another pair of flying fishermen, because all this water up here, you're going to lose at least half of what you possibly could see with blue, green, or gray lenses. You won't see with the brown. Now, I fish the brown in Charlotte Harbor because I fish mostly Charlotte Harbor. So the brown's perfect for me, matching the watercolor. I can see better than if I have any of the blue or greens, because the brown works best in brown water. But brown really is no good in these waters. And so often right now we find ourselves looking for fish. That's why I'm kind of pounding on it.
Yeah. And even though the water was super murky, the guys I was talking with, I said, this is going to be clearing up. If we don't have any more of these serious fronts come through, this water is going to get amazingly clear.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's just wind driven. It's just sand dust.
Yep, just silt.
All right,
out in the Gulf.
I don't have a lot of stuff except I'm hearing a little bit about lane snappers, the grunts, porgies, and the nearshore stuff. There are some bigger fish on the nearshore reefs right now, but you're fishing very slowly for them. And so many times when the guys go out, they know they're going to catch the snappers and the smaller fish. So they're dropping down like a shrimp right away or a little piece of squid. When you get there, put a whole sardine on, put a whole squid on, drop that down first. See if there's something big. Because once the smaller ones start feeding on everything, the bigger ones aren't going to come in until all that's over. So if you want to find those bigger fish on Mary's, Power Pole, Helen's, Jeff Steele, the Phoenix Reef, all that, when you get there, your first line down should have a whole sardine or a whole squid. Now I'll take the squid and I'll right up at the pointy part of the head, letting the tentacles trail down. I'll go through 2 or 3 times right at the head of that. And I'm going to just slowly let that go down. I'm not going to just open free line it down because it's going to go too fast. I want to control that drop. I've got 2 to 4 ounces of lead on there, maybe 6. And I control that speed so it's nice even drop down like this all the way through the water column. Gives those big fish chance to look up, see it coming down and going, okay, I'm going to go grab that because it's a bigger bait. The little ones aren't going to want to tackle it first. Once it's down there for a while, they're going to start picking them apart. But when they first come down, they're kind of, whoa, what's that? And the bigger one will come in and just engulf it. But if you're looking for those keeper grouper, the bigger whatever fish, whole big baits the first drop. Or all you're going to find is little ones, even if the big fish are there. So it's a trick. And once you get it down, if you feel it's starting to get all pecked apart, all right, bring it up, put a small bait on, go down and catch the small guys. That's fine. But start off, get that big bait, find out if there's any big fish down there.
Now, we've also had some sheepshead out on the Novak and Tremblay reefs. We were catching them on hand-picked shrimp.
Yep.
But not the hand-picks you're thinking of. Reverse hand-picks. I want that shrimp. I want one that is the size of that joint and that joint of my pinky finger, and that's it.
Yeah.
Because those little itty bitties.
Number 4 hook, maybe a number 2, but usually number 4. And I've gone down as low as number 6, which is crappie size, bluegill size, and putting those little baits on with a number 4, number 6 hook and drop it down. But it can't be a bluegill hook. It can't be bent wire.
It's got to be thicker.
It's got to be a forged hook.
Yeah.
An octopus hook is usually the one I go for first out of those, and number 6 or number 4, because otherwise the hook stands out so much. You want them to suck that whole shrimp in, and if you got that giant hook, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, but that's the
way
key
down
to
on
it,
your hook size.
is that shrimp is little enough that they just take the whole thing in, which means the hook is in their mouth. So if you drop down a bigger shrimp, like everybody wants to do, they just sit there and they pick them apart and they pull them off the hook, and you're like, well, why am I just losing bait after bait after bait? You got to go to that smaller shrimp that actually fits.
Yeah, you're literally just picking out the smallest shrimp in the bucket, little tiny hook like you would use for bluegill, almost like you would use to catch bait, and get it through the head, one side, out the other of the head, and that's where you're going to start nailing those sheephead over there. I have a similar trick I use with some bait fish and small hooks that I do for snook on those reefs, because those reefs, sometime in the next month and a half, every reef will have 500 to 1,000 snook on them. But you got to fish them the right way. We're going to go over that as it starts to happen.
There we go. Anything from Venice?
I got nothing. I haven't heard.
Okay, so
I got nothing
for the, jetties,
for the
nothing
passes.
From the pier, nothing for the passes. Skipping by
Walking
redfish,
the beaches.
Captiva. Have we heard anything from Boca Grande Pass?
Is this walking the beaches or the passes?
Boca Grande Pass would come before the beaches.
Okay, no, I don't have anything.
Okay, so there are still some sheepshead down there. The numbers are getting lower as we go, but down here at the base of the old phosphate dock, and also at these docks nearby. There are sheepshead in there. There are also some small black drum hanging out down there with them. We didn't catch any of them, but I saw a couple of them caught.
Okay.
So, and they're probably, I don't know, 16, 18-inch black drum. So,
yeah, nice.
Yeah, fair size. So let me type that because I can't type and talk at the same time.
Okay. Right now, I don't have any proof of it, but this is, see this edge line here? You got the oil docks here. You've got the phosphate docks here. I get just north of that. Right now, what I would do to find flounder is go up fairly close to the beach and then drift out away until I cross this. This is a little deeper than this, is more of a flat. But I'm going to drift out about a half a mile, then I'll go back in and drift out again, go back in and drift out again. And root beer colored Little John's, Bass Assassin's got a very similar one. I don't know if Carl's got one in KB or not, and it's just bouncing them along the bottom. All I'm doing is once the boat starts moving, I make a long cast out, and without reeling, I just bounce my rod up, and then I bounce my rod up. As the boat's moving, I just do this, and it makes that jig come up, hit, and with that long pointy tail of the Little John, as the jig hits, it wobbles as it falls over. And what's amazing is the people, they want these stand-up heads. They don't stand up. I've tested these things on and off for literally decades. 2 feet of water, 5 feet of water. You throw them in there, they fall over. What they do is swim. The flat part that is supposed to make them stand up gives a swimming action to that jig head as it moves through the water. And I think that's why they're so effective. I'm going to start ordering more of them, because we were playing with the tank, because the guys tell me, oh no, these stand up. And I've got that big pinfish tank that we finally got pinfish in today. We got like 500 pinfish delivered. But in that pinfish tank, there was, I'd thrown them in there, and you can watch through the window and just see them, they hit bottom and fall over, or they land on their side. But as I had the one on the line and I started to swing it, I went, wow, look at that. That flat part is really making it swim. And even in a little short burst, it was going side to side, because you can't push something flat through the water. It hits the pressure, and it's going to divert the pressure off. And you're pulling it, so it pulls it back, diverts the pressure to the other side. You can't push something flat through the water. That's why things are rounded. Rounded jig heads go through the water better. They don't go side to side as you pull them through.
All right. We are on the beach now. What do we know?
Between Englewood and Nokomis, or whatever it is up there, Middle Beach, I guess they call it.
Yep.
There is
Blind Pass Beach State Park.
Yeah, Blind Pass Beach State Park. But along on the outside out there, there's schools of pompano been going up and down past there. There's some schools of ladyfish, getting a few whiting here and there. But the fish aren't like they're living here. They're going up and down the beach. So you and the fish have to show up at the same time. If that happens, you're going to have a really good half hour or an hour. And then you're going to wait, because they've gone by. They got to hit the end of the run, turn around, come back, and come by you again. But the people who are there when the fish are showing up are just having a blast. And over this last week, I've had 3 or 4 people come in that have been somewhere along this area. And it's funny, when one person hooks up, all of a sudden another one will, and another one will, and it's just kind of a free-for-all. And then everything quiets down again. The whiting move up and down, but they're going very slowly. So you can get into more whiting, but when you hit the pompano, or the blue runners have been going along the coast. We're seeing a lot of little blue runners in. People are mistaking those for small jacks. And I was wondering why they were catching some of the jacks and stuff out here. I got a picture, and it was a blue runner. It wasn't a jack crevalle. So the blue runners are going along there. A few jack crevalle probably, but jacks going up along the beach.
Cool.
And I got nothing for the passes. I don't know anything
if
about
they're there, though,
Matlacha.
they've got to be in some of the other spots too.
Yeah,
when you
I don't
have
know.
those fish on that beach, it's not the only one.
Yeah, they're all the way up and down the coast that way. And it doesn't matter if you're up by Venice or if you're down by Sanibel. This is the scenario that's going along. You're probably going to have some really good times, but just the fish aren't living in one spot. They're literally cruising up and down the whole coast.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, personally, I'd probably go to Milton Pass because the amount of water that's flowing through there is moving a lot of fish through.
So it just
That'd
pick
be
your
my
favorite
choice.
spot. Give it a heck. If you're lucky, you are. If you're not, you're not.
All right. So nothing for Matlacha.
No,
Let's get over there anyway.
I haven't heard anything from Pine Island Sound because I haven't talked to anybody down there.
All right.
This is going to get crazy here over the next month.
So this area right here at the north end, which isn't technically Pine Island Sound, but it's more influenced by Pine Island Sound than anything else.
Pine Island Sound.
Yeah, Mondongo and Patricio, this flat up here to the north of that, has had spotted sea trout on it, and there's Spanish mackerel moving through. Now, they haven't been super active in feeding the last couple days because the water temperature has been cold, but before that, we were getting them to actually bite.
Yeah, so well, that's going to change this next week.
Exactly. By the time we do this report again, we'll have had warmer water temperatures, and I think that it's an awesome spot to go over there and hit some of those fish. Because what you've got is, look at this area, okay? We've got Boca Grande Pass right here. We've got the ICW right here. We've got a deeper cut that goes along right here. There's mangrove shorelines over here. There's grass out here in water from 1 foot to about 8 feet deep. Mm-hmm. There's everything that a fish could want right there, including a huge amount of current flow coming out of the pass. So it's just a very fishy location.
Yeah.
You just have to figure out where the fish are because they may not be in the same spot all the time.
One of my favorite fishing spots is down here.
Yeah. Where the mackerel had been was in about that 8, 9, 10 feet of water, which is actually off the grass, but that's okay because that's where that little itty-bitty bait was hanging out too.
Yeah, I've got a spot, and it doesn't get good till about 10 o'clock at night. But when we go out for overnights on the big boat and stuff, I've taken people down there, and maybe 9 o'clock. But between 9 and 10, it'll light up, and the fish will just go crazy till about maybe midnight. And then you got sharks move in because of all the fish activity you've been catching. But it only works late at night. I've been there during the day many times and just nothing. And I don't think anybody in their right mind wants to go out after dark right now. It's too cold.
I would probably do it, but accusing me of being in my right mind is something that doesn't happen very often.
I just wish you weren't so much in your left mind.
Chug Creek, Shoal, and Bokeelia. Anything from there?
No, that's too much Josh's left brain thing going on. It's just too scary. No, I just haven't talked to anybody who's fished there.
Burnt Store, 2 Pines?
Again, I have not talked to anybody.
All right, cruising it on up to...
On the east side is a lot slower right now because all the cold water coming in out of Gulf. The west side is really doing much better. There are still some trout if you go in at Pirate Harbor and go north about 6 islands and just guess that, okay, was that 5, 6, or 7, doesn't matter. It's just this general area through here. And if you're out there now with the way the wind's blowing, because this is going to be rough. There's a lot of wind out there. This is going to be rough and nasty. This will be okay. But you're just drifting across, going back, drifting across, going back, drifting across. Make sure when you drift, your outboard motor's all the way down because that will keep you from getting too shallow running into here. But as soon as you get out here, get that outboard all the way down. That way you don't go aground when you get on the other side. Because you've got this deeper area here, but it's very easy to have your whole boat high and dry because you drifted in there and boom. Now you got to get out, push the whole thing out. If you had left your motor all the way down, the motor would catch, the boat would swing, and you go, okay, my drift's over. You reel in everything, then you trim the motor up, back off, and start another drift. Very simple, never a problem, never a headache. With your motor up, so it doesn't hit bottom, it doesn't hit bottom. Your hull does. That is not as good.
No, it is not as good. That's slightly understated, but it is not as good.
Up by Alligator Creek, I've had a few reports of trout. I'm hearing a little bit of mangrove snappers, silver jennies, the moharas. I've snook fishing on Alligator Creek has been pretty good. It's been such a mixed bag. I forget what everybody said they've been catching. But these first bends here up until the slow speed zone has been doing pretty good. But up by the oyster bar and up, you've got some snook under the docks. If you go into any one of the little canals that go in, and those first few docks will probably have snook on them. Probably, depending on how far up, the first, second, or third dock will probably have some snook on them. As you get further back in, it gets a little more 50-50. But right by the mouths right now, I think because of the warmer water, especially coming around, and yeah, it's been good. You've been in the, what do they call the cut through?
Buckley Pass.
Buckley Pass.
Yeah.
You've been in there recently, right?
I have gone through it. We haven't fished in it.
Okay.
We just drove through it. I don't like fishing in that spot. The problem with fishing in there is that it's
narrow.
It's narrow, and there's always boats that want to go through it.
Right.
So, and it does hold fish for sure. I mean, when you look at it, this is the connector between the bird section down here
and the bird section
and the creek. So it's definitely holding fish. I think a lot of the fish we used to catch at Ponce de Leon Park now move through here instead. But there's no real good place for you to sit out of the way and fish. You're always in the way. So.
It's just, if you want to relax and fish, this is not your thing. If you want to relax and fish, don't go to Buckley Pass. It's just not going to happen because every, cruiser, sailboat, you name it, they're all coming out to go out, and that's what it's there for them to get in and out. It's not there so we can have a quiet time fishing.
And it's pretty narrow, and you got to remember that 80% of the boaters out there take their half of the channel out of the middle.
The middle.
Yeah. So yeah, it gets dangerous if you're sitting
I don't know anything about Ponce outside of rumors of some small snappers and sheephead, but that should be getting very good again soon. But I don't. I know a lot of people who've gone there to go fishing, but I haven't talked to them since they've been back.
Yeah, it's because they go and they get disappointed and they don't come back, unfortunately.
PGI, you got jacks, you got snook, there's redfish under some of the docks, you got Goliath grouper underneath these docks that are up in this section. Here's Colony Point where it comes in, and this section around the bridge, and these canals here, and Goliath grouper, 20 to 40 pounds or more. We're seeing a little bit of that through the big section here, but not as much down in this way. But around the outside rim, drum, sheephead, jacks, snook, there's just a lot of fish in PGI right now. And if you've got a place where you like to fish, now's the time I would probably hit it, because the water's finally it's starting to get a little warmer in these canals, so it's starting to light up. They're deep enough where the big deep holes that are in some of these, their fish are starting to come up out of those holes and starting to move up to where they'd rather be. So great time to fish in PGI.
There's and we're going to go through that Goldilocks temperature zone where it goes from being cold to being just right, but not hot yet. But if you wait 6 weeks, it gets hot.
Yeah,
so
you
make
need
it
to
happen
do this
soon.
April's going to be your last bit of great fishing up here. You've got February, March. Once April hits, this whole upper end will change, and we're going to have a lot less fish. You've got March and the beginning of April to fish this upper end of the harbor from literally the reef north. This is going to be perfect over the next 6 weeks. But 8 weeks from now, half the fish will be gone. Now, the east side's going to get a lot better because at that point, the east side's going to start getting cooler water from the Gulf, so the east side will become the good one. Right now, it's all about the west. But in 6 weeks, it's going to be all about the east side.
Alligator Creek Reef, we've had some sheepshead out there. The numbers seem to be okay, but the average size seems to be dropping. So it seems like we're getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Before we were getting, good 16-inch sheepshead out there, and then they were 14-inch, and now they're 10-inch.
Shouldn't there be gag grouper and maybe some other types of grouper in here now? Smaller ones.
I'm sure there are small gags out there, and I'm sure there are Goliaths out there of various sizes because there always are. But most people are so focused on fishing with shrimp, and the gag grouper, yeah, they'll hit it, but they'd rather hit something fishy. So if somebody were to go out there and drop down with
half a
small
sardine,
live pinfish or half a frozen sardine, cut bait, something like that, you'd unfortunately eliminate the sheepshead, but you might have some fun pulling.
Well, we
on
just
little
got
grouper.
like 500 pinfish in, so if you want to give that a try,
That would be a great
plenty
choice.
Of bait.
Yeah.
But as for the smaller ones, because these are not big grouper, it's possible to catch a keeper out of these, but most of these are juveniles. But they're a lot of fun to catch.
Yeah, and season is only for a short period of time in September now for gags.
Mm.
So forget about having a keeper out of there. It's just a catch and release fishery at this point.
I was just basically going by size ratio.
Yeah.
You know, they're
No, I gotcha.
not going to find a lot of them over 24 inches or anything.
I would not expect that.
Every once in a while I've caught a big one out there, but not very often.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, that brings us to the 20-foot holes, where there's probably big fat nothing going on.
I don't know. I haven't heard of anybody being out there.
The bait fish reports, where we're starting to see some very small bait showing up. Very small, as in don't even think about throwing a cast net on this stuff. These are just babies, but that's a good sign because it means we're going to have some other stuff coming in. Now, we have seen a few pods of larger apparent bait fish out there in the open water of the harbor. There's been pelicans out there diving on it. Haven't been able to get close enough to make any kind of an identification, and I haven't seen any predatory fish pushing them up. So sometimes I'll rely on the terns and gulls that are catching those little bait fish. You watch them fly away with it. It's like, oh, okay, I see what that is. They're carrying away, a 5-inch, what looks like a
pelicans or is it terns
pelicans.
and seagulls?
It's all pelicans.
All pelicans.
Yeah.
It's probably sardines.
Hard
this
to say.
time of year, that's what I would guess. They're coming up close enough to the surface where they can dive on them. But sardines aren't like white bait or thread fins where they bubble along the top and you can see like the rain on the water. They hug deep. When back decades ago when I was chartering, we would go out there this time of year and just get up into the wind and drift. We would start, God, okay.
I was going to give you some more of the harbor.
No,
so you
that's
can
fine. We would start like here and be drifting across, and you throw the cast net, you bring it back in, you throw the net, you bring it back in, you throw the net, you bring it back in, and now you just keep doing that blind casting across. But this area here is great on sardines this time of year, but you're not going to find them any other way but just throw the net, bring the net back in, throw the net, bring the net back in, and just drift across with that, because you'll probably strike them. I've had to make 2-3 drifts. It takes 3 hours to get all of a sudden a net full of sardines. When you get a net full, it's usually more than enough for your whole day, but it's a lot of work. You're puffing and puffing, and I was my arms weren't all wrinkly. They were all strong, and they didn't have all this crap on them. They just had big muscles and stuff. But I could throw a cast net for 3 hours, and 10, 12-foot cast nets, I'd throw them hours and never think about it.
Well, now you might be able to use your side scan to pick up on some of those schools of bait. Might
Doesn't
make it a
help,
little easier.
they'll move. Otherwise, you could do it with a regular depth finder.
Bunch of jerk
and I've
fish.
tried to do that, but they just move. And once the trolling motor kicks in, or the motor where you go to get up where they are, it's not like they're running, but they just move over a little bit.
But they're just not there anymore.
Yeah. So all the fancy electronics aren't going to help you. If you're in good shape, I told you how to do it. If you're not, you're just not going to get them, because no matter how much electronics you got, they just move away from it.
Yeah, unfortunately. All right, freshwater reports, anything?
Hearing a lot of bass. People are doing a lot of bass fishing right now. Shiners are the thing everybody wants to have, but guys coming in, red shad is the most asked for worm. We're out of them. I like the moccasin colors. Any of the browns usually do real good right now. Texas rigging, the worms bouncing along the bottom are doing very well. Now you can do the Senko style, and when you put your hook in and you're weedless rigging it, don't do it at the head of the worm. don't do it here at the head. Bring it back in a little bit. You want that worm to fall flat. You want it to go down this way, not nose down. Because if you don't have a weight on it, you're just throwing that Senko or dinger or whatever it is. You want it to fall and go down flat. Now, watch your line when you do that, because your line is going to be going down into the water. When your line stops, wait hopefully at least 5-10 seconds. And that worm is just kind of laying there, got a little bit of this left to it. And those fish pick it up and run with it. You're just seeing it on your line, all of a sudden the line takes off. If you don't get that hit or you can't wait that long, bring it up. But once you're reeling, start just twitching it a little bit. Not big pulls, but just tap, tap, take up the slack, tap, tap. And that worm will just dart around in the water down there, making them crazy. But you want to do that slowly, bringing it up. Mid-depth stuff is doing pretty good. If you go evening bite, topwaters are a lot of fun. Zip and Ziggy would be my number one choice. Green and silver, and black and silver, anything like that, any kind of natural colors. In the Zip and Ziggy, you're going to do great with it. And this kind of broad spectrum around, but almost every bass fisherman has at least 2 or 3 dozen minnows with them, because there's still a lot of crappie biting. They're still bunched up. They're still doing good. You can get on those crappies pretty good. Beetle spins are okay for baits, but the smaller marabou hairs are doing actually a little better, and it's a slow bounce jigging. You're looking mostly for pepper trees, because the crappies are hanging out in the roots and branches of those pepper trees, because they've got all that stuff going into the water. It's perfect habitat for their babies. And that's what's going on right now. They're getting ready to either have the babies or just had the babies, and they want to be around all that structure to protect them. So you've got pretty much another 2-3 weeks of some pretty good crappie fishing, maybe through the end of March. But by April, that crappie fight will be pretty much over. So get it now. Take some minnows with you, put it under a bobber, pitch it over by a pepper tree, and hang on some nice eating there.
All right. And how about the tarpon reports? Yeah, no.
Well, as a tarpon report, I would say if you're going to go up by the San Souci Trestle or up at the water treatment plant on the Peace River, and this, you don't have to go around, Josh. The water treatment plant, San Souci Trestle, or over in maybe West Spring Lake or East Spring Lake, one of those canals, possibly Edgewater Lake, you've got some smaller tarpon. I don't know that they're down in Pirate Harbor yet. I haven't heard about the small tarpon down there. But there are several canals, and it's not solid right now. It's still been too cold. The babies have been hiding, but they've been hiding up in the creeks, the rivers, and now they're starting to come down. Some of the canals in Port Charlotte are actually seeing smaller tarpon later in the day doing a roll. So this is going to break out any time now with the tarpon.
But it won't be long if we continue on this warming trend before those fish that moved up the rivers to overwinter are going to have to start feeding. Their metabolism is going to be picking up, and they've got to eat. So
they'll be coming out of Shell Creek, coming off the Peace River. They're going to be coming into the canals and out on the flats. And I'll show you one of my good tarpon spots for small tarpon on the flats, show you the lures I use. That's going to be coming up. And if you think I'm giving away some big secrets, it's been on my website for the last few years. Josh has had it on the magazine. It was an article I wrote for a magazine, and showing you where I went and what I did and all that. I've been doing this stuff for 41 years, boys and girls.
It's a secret that's been given away multiple times.
Yeah.
Not much of a secret, really.
What I like is somebody who's 22, 23 telling me, you're telling too many secret spots. But and your secret spots that I've been fishing for 35 years?
And the only reason they know about that secret spot is that a buddy showed it to him who learned about it from you.
Yeah. And that's probably the truth.
No.
So,
all right, let's beam you back to the chair.
All right.
Okay, let's get you out of here. Let's get me out of there because I don't need to be in there. Okay.
Here we go.
There we go.
Oh, it feels good.
You want to take off your shades so you can see those baby blues? There we go. All right.
I feel more like old blues. Baby blues is probably pretty much gone. But old blues, I got a couple old blues. But seeing them back here where I can do my emotional support, Cabo reel.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I do think the benchmark, it might be just these two, is it feels good. I just like the benchmark.
Well,
a lot.
I think it's an unfair comparison right now. We need to put line on that benchmark so that it's apples to apples.
Yeah, I'm going to be fishing these two a lot. That's a 3. It's bigger than I usually use. I use 25s, 2000s.
Yeah,
that's a 3.
We wanted a 2500, but he didn't have one.
Yeah, I'll be doing the 2500 to benchmark. Zeidman gave me this Cabo.
Yeah, so I know. We wanted the 2500, but he didn't have one.
Yeah, so I'm going to be fishing this 3, but I'm going to put heavier line on that. And on the 25, I'll probably go down to like 10. But yeah, I'm going to be doing some rigs. People don't believe me when I show them, but we're going to be doing some testing, or when I tell them, showing you how to make a rod cast as far as possible, how to set it up, the line, the reel, the rod, how to blend all that together to get distance, how to set stuff up to get power. These are all things we're going to be doing, but keep in mind, we plan on doing this for a few years. So right now we're getting used to the equipment. We're getting used to each other, although I'm going to learn how to poke him a little more because he's funnier when he's all up, So, yeah, see that look? That's the look I'm going to be going for a while.
That's the one you want, is it?
No,
okay.
no, not all the time. Just every once in a while.
Remember, I can mute you.
Yes. People will probably like it better if I'm muted.
They probably would.
So anyway, I'm Fishin' Frank, owner of Fishin' Frank's Bait and Tackle in Port Charlotte, Florida. This is Captain Josh Olive, the Fish Coach. You go to fishcoach.net, or you can hear us on Kicks Country 92.9 Saturday mornings between 7 and 9 a.m.
And if you happen to tune in tomorrow morning, just like Robert's missing from this show, Robert will be missing from that show because I can't bring him in from Costa Rica for just a couple hours. So Frank has graciously volunteered to join us on that show tomorrow.
So yeah, I haven't done that. Well, we did a radio show just before the radio show went down.
Yes.
Yeah, I came on with you for one of those shows. Yeah.
And radio's good because you don't have to look at us.
Yeah, so, it's much better
because
you're not seeing all this. And I'm supposed to be looking here at the cameras, but I go over and look at Josh, so I'm always kind of like cross-eyed.
Yeah, and you keep looking over here at this big screen because that catches your eye. So
yeah,
and then you keep flapping your arms around, which nobody wants to see, but he does it anyway because you can't stop it.
Because of my chicken wings?
Yeah, because of
I
that.
don't
right
care.
there.
I'm an old man.
We know.
When you get old,
already know.
This stuff just goes that way. I mean, yes, am I powerful like I used to be? Absolutely not. I'm much weaker than I used to be, but I'm many more injuries and more other problems. And I'm still alive. That's all I care about. If my skin's a little wrinkly and flabby, yeah.
Nobody's taking that away from you. We just don't need to see the flap all the time.
Don't care.
He doesn't care. He
does really don't care.
He's flapping
it's
anyway.
Me. This is the way it is. So,
right. Are we done with this?
I've got a whole bunch of stuff I got to do. I've just been waiting for it to warm up because when the cold weather hits, I can't move. All my joints lock up. So
his flap stops flapping, and he's just frozen.
I will be literally shoveling and digging and pressure cleaning and putting soffit up and insulation. I got so much work to do, but I just get froze up. I can't do it. So it's going to be a busy couple months for me.
Okay.
So I'll have less flap in my arms.
Anything else to rant about, or can we wrap this thing up?
No, the ramping's good. Guys, thank you so much for listening. If you do have any fishing reports, pictures, if you just, write us a couple lines, frank@fishandfranks.com. We'd love to hear from you, no matter where in the world you are. We're getting pictures from, I think, Ohio and
Lake of the
Minnesota, Lake of the Woods. Yeah. So if you're in the Keys, wherever you are, please send us your stuff. We love hearing from you about that. Like the video if you would. It helps us get there. Subscribe if you haven't. That helps us get paid more.
And make a comment.
And I'm not supposed to talk about that. I'm not supposed to say, we want to get paid more because
Frank,
it's crass.
I think the lyrics are coming up though,
so I gotta go.
We gotta go.
Just when I was getting crass.
We'll see y'all soon for the next show. Till then, catch 'em up, tight lines, everyone. Fishin' Frank's Fishing Club, now our job is done.